All right.
Yes.
Come on.
Come on, Sim.
Let's go. Let's
What you
go.
saying?
Unbelievable.
How you feeling?
Unbelievable scenes,
Oh
Jeff.
my God, that was stressful, man.
What, the game or that? Or just trying to get
Trying
in?
to get on every time.
Now you know how we feel.
The internet would just cut out.
Well, you know how we
God.
feel.
Sim, come on, man. You're coming like Daniel Levy. You're, part owner of a great YouTube channel, and what, you can't afford more than like some budget dial-up internet where you are. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
I don't know what's going on. I've got good internet. I don't know what is going on.
Yeah,
I've
we've
got
all heard that. We've all heard that
plugged in.
before.
Fair enough. But I suppose what were your thoughts on the game today? Starting off with like the starting lineup and take us through it.
Yeah, when I saw the lineup, I was a bit like looking at it. I was like, it's very defensive. 2 defensive wing backs, 2 defensive midfielders, 3 centre backs. Obviously, you got Richarlison, you got Kane, and you got Kulusevski in there. So good quality. But I'm thinking, are we going to have enough to open up West Ham in this game? And to be honest, first half we didn't really. We had all the possession, we had control of the game. But we didn't really have anything, any real chances to open them up, and that was kind of frustrating in the first half. But look, credit where credit's due. We kept control. I think the main thing is we didn't have any defensive screw-ups at the back. And I think, to be honest, if we're looking at today's game, it's very similar to maybe how other performances have gone in games we have lost, but just minus those defensive screw-ups. You look at like games against Liverpool, games against Newcastle, and games of similar games like that. The only difference in those games where we were much better in the second half is that in the first half, we literally gave them goals, like Dyer heading back to Salah. Got Lloris coming out of his goal and just giving Wilson an open goal. So these defensive screw-ups have really hurt us. Today that didn't happen. We kept West Ham arm's length and then kept it at 0-0. And to be fair, second half was much better. I think we created in the first 5 minutes of the second half probably more than we did in the whole in the first half. And we came out with new energy. We came out with a purpose. And I think we deserved the victory overall. West Ham, I think Bowen had a chance just after 1-0, but apart from that, I can't think of too many other clear-cut opportunities they really had. Forster, I think, had 1 save to make. So West Ham, who really need the points, were easily kept at arm's length. And I think I was pretty happy with the performance overall. And I think it was, I do think it was quite similar to what we've seen in maybe games that we've complained about. But luckily today, we didn't make those same mistakes. And I think that was the big difference today.
Yeah.
Do you think Spurs, Sim, play with more freedom without Conte?
I don't see that much freedom today, to be honest. So I don't think that
against Man City. This one, that's what it is. He's Conte through Sim. Like he would never, no Conte slander ever. Do you know what I mean? But God, sorry, Sim.
Don't dare even insinuate anything wrong with Conte.
But
look, I hear what you guys are saying, but I don't know. I didn't see today much more freedom than in usual games. I think it was still very everyone was in their position. Everyone was playing their patterns of play. I think we've seen these kind of performances. I think it's very, as I get to say, I think it's very similar to what we've seen in other games that we've lost. And I think maybe you could argue in those games that we lost, if we didn't give the opposition a massive helping hand, maybe the results would have been different. And I think today was still very similar. I think we deserve the victory in terms of personnel. When it comes to obviously the wing backs are getting a lot of credit because Davis and Emerson linked up for the goal. I still think the reservations I had before the game, despite the fact they did link up with the goal, I did think they bore out during the game, in my opinion. Yeah. Even though they did link up with the goal, I thought Davis, I thought he had a good game, but I thought the amount of times he got into the final third, his delivery was atrocious on a number of occasions. That really hurt us. Emerson got into the final third and then he just didn't deliver. He would rather pass it to Kulu or go backwards. So I still think that going forward, especially in the first half, we were lacking ideas and creativity when West Ham pretty much set up with a 3-5-2 and very much clogged up the central areas, forced us out wide, and we did lack a bit of quality, I felt. But we did find that moment of magic to open up the game. And as much as, obviously, Davis and Emerson linked up, but the moment of magic actually came from Højbjerg, because Højbjerg, what a pass. I don't see many people talking about that.
Yeah, so true.
What a pass that was to put Davis through on goal. It was pinpoint, literally on the money to get Davison on goal. Davis didn't have to break stride. All he had to do was play an Emerson, and it was a tidy finish. And although I think he can even believe himself that he scored, but
Don't let hear you say that. Barry's not going to be happy.
Huh?
Yeah.
Barry's not going to be happy about this.
credit where credit's due. He had a brilliant game, Emerson. For me, it didn't look like a comfortable finish in my opinion. But look, he got it.
I said, did he kind of scuff it or whatever? He was like, no, he placed it.
I think a player with more composure could easily take a touch and then finish it. He kind of took it first time. He rushed it a bit. He got it in the corner. So fair play to him. But I did feel like he rushed it a bit. I did feel like he rushed it a bit.
No, I agree. I agree with that. Totally.
I think Højbjerg was the bit of magic that we needed to open them up. He actually brought it, in my opinion. So fair play to him. And then I think obviously Richarlison's going to come under criticism because everyone's been calling for him. He came in and didn't have a great game. Then Sonny came on and obviously finished them with a bit of quality, stretched the game. But you got to remember one thing why Sonny maybe is quite effective when coming on as a sub after coming on for Richarlison is Richarlison is a very physical player. So when he's on the pitch, he harasses. He makes it difficult for the opposition. He's backing into them. He's running in behind. He's making them think of different things. And although he wasn't very effective today in the final third, granted, and he didn't have that much quality, what he did do is, in my opinion anyway, is he helped create some more tired legs. He tired them out. He was a bit of a nuisance for them constantly. He's either running at them or he's using his physicality a bit, and then he kind of readies Son when Son comes on. Son is running at tired legs, and all of a sudden there's a bit more space for him. Obviously, it helps with 1-0 up. There's obviously going to be the game's going to be a bit more stretched anyway. Just like against Leicester, we were 3-2 up as well. The game was stretched, so it led to more space for Sonny. So that's the perfect situation for bringing on someone like Son. When you're winning already, you're kind of seeing out the game, and then when the opposition have to come out a bit, then that's prime for Son to come on and make the difference. And I think he did that again today. But that's something we've got to do more often, in my opinion. I know Stellini said after the game in his conference, he said, Sonny today was they took him out the team because he wasn't 100% physically, and we have to make sure that. That's what he said. He said it's got to be, you got to manage him, basically. That's what he's saying. And he said when Sonny's 100%, he's one of those players. He has to be in the team. But
really, wow,
that's what he said. Yeah, but for me, I just think it's a tactic. I'm not saying Sonny has to come out the team consistently, but I'm saying it's something we should do more often, especially when we have more than one game a week. That we put Sonny on the bench and rest him a bit, and then hopefully when he come on against tired legs, because he's one of the players I'd least like to face. I think if you are up against tired legs, is Sonny.
So with that in mind, then do you start Son against Chelsea if he's fully fit? Would you start Son, or would you maybe even go Danjuma, I suppose, and bring him on as a super sub?
Considering we have a free week, we don't have a midweek game. I think we will start Son, and I probably would, even though it was better him coming off the bench. I just think in a big game at home to Chelsea, I think he could definitely make a difference, like from the start, in my opinion. I think the way Potter plays, they're not going to come and sit back. I think that could play into Sonny's hands a bit, but. I definitely think we should be thinking about resting Son or putting Son on the bench more often. I don't think this next Sunday against Chelsea it would be the perfect opportunity for it. But I think when the games are coming thick and fast, we got to be. I think we've been overplaying him a lot, and I think we've been playing him in loads of games. And even I was saying this even before the game. Even if Sonny's playing really well week in week out, you still got to use your squad. You still got to rotate, even if he's playing well. And the fact that he isn't playing well as well compounds that fact that we should be rotating even more. I do feel a bit bad for Danjuma. They didn't get any minutes on the pitch again. And he's kind of like, why is he here? Mora comes on, and Danjuma doesn't even get a look in. But we'll have to wait and see what use we have for him later in the season. But. Yeah, I think Son. I would start Son, to be honest, because we have a free week.
Go on.
No, I was just going to say that because you're one of the only people that has kind of not called out Ben Davies, but you said Ben Davies wasn't that great, really, and that's who Sky Sports gave Man of the Match to. And then you've said that Emerson scuffed his shot, and that's who everyone else is giving man of the match to. So I really want to know who your man of the match would be, because you haven't picked any of the obvious ones. Do you know what I mean?
I'm not saying Emerson and Davis had bad games. I just still think the reservations I had before the game are still there. They weren't very good going forward, and I know they're linked up for a goal, but I still don't think they're good going forward. And I think I don't think you can rely on Davis and Emerson to consistently link up for goals. So I wouldn't be like, okay, this is our solution.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I did think they had really good games. But my man of the match for me was Romero. I thought Romero was brilliant. I thought he was back to his most confident. I thought he was putting some really strong challenges in and really putting us back on the front foot. I thought his passing out from the back was a lot more confident, and he didn't get a booking, so that's always fantastic from Romero's point of view. I thought he had a brilliant game, Romero. I thought Antonio was very, very quiet. He had absolutely nothing. But you know, it's really annoying. You see Romero, like when you see him, like he gets the crowd pumping when he puts in a really strong challenge, and you just think like, when he does that so consistently, but he's like the only defender in our back three who ever does it. He's the only one, you know, he's the only defender who, like, imagine we had three defenders just like pit bulls like Romero putting in those challenges. He's the only one who does it. But for me, he was, I thought he was really, really good. It looked like he's getting back to his best now, hopefully, off the back of that.
Yeah.
So the big question is for me is, can we do the top four, Sim? Is this the push that we needed to make the challenge?
Yeah, I mean, look, considering all the problems we've had and all the injuries we've had and all the question marks surrounding our season, the fact that we're in the top four right now is pretty unbelievable. I know Newcastle still have a game in hand, but I think that we've done really well. I think, how many games we in? We've played 24 games and we've lost 8, which is what, a third? Is that a third? Or was that a quarter? A third. So a third of our games we've lost, and we're still fourth somehow. And the amount of goals we've conceded as well, and we're still in the top 4. I think I wouldn't say it's ours, but I would say 100%. We're probably one of the front runners. Considering Newcastle have done look, for example, I don't see Newcastle doing better than they did in the first half of the season. I don't see them improving on that. So the fact that they were pretty much, for me anyway, playing at their peak, and they're still outside the top 4, for me tells me I think Spurs are hopefully going to get better. Hopefully we can find some consistency. That's the main thing. We need to find some consistency and a solid foundational performance, because we can't keep going from like Man City at home to Leicester away, and then getting battered, then being solid, then getting battered again. We need to start being really consistent with our defensive displays. If we can find that, we know we have the quality going forward to make the difference. So I think if we can find that consistency at the back, I do think we'll get top 4, and I think the fact that we're in top 4 shows that right now. So I think we're going to do it. I do think we're going to do it. I'm going to back us to do it. And look, it took Man City 2 weeks to wipe out an 8-point gap from Arsenal. So we have 2 months. So come on, 12 points.
What, are you in the Barry camp that we're going to catch Arsenal?
I remember last season when we were fighting top 4. I think it was like March or something, and Arsenal looked like they were going to run away with it at some point. And I remember we were in a WhatsApp group. I was actually chatting with Josh on the WhatsApp group, and he was like, Arsenal, I think it's at the moment, it's just like, he's like, the feeling I get with Arsenal at the moment is like they're like, we don't want to accept that they're better than us, and like it's just come to that point and stuff like that. And I was like, Josh, Arsenal are going to have to take. We've been finishing above Arsenal for 5 years in a row. And if they're going to finish above us, they have to take it from my cold dead hand. I'm not going to stop believing until it's mathematically possible. So 12 points, and they're going to chip away from it every single week. Come on.
Oh my God. Yeah, but come on, this season now, like finally, what I was saying is probably right. Do you know what I mean? Like,
season too early.
Right, but all I'm saying is they've dropped more points in the second half of the season. They did the whole of the first half. So the cracks are showing. I know they got their lucky win on the weekend, but let's hope that they can start to drop even more points. You never know what's going to happen. I don't think it's possible. But look, I've seen Arsenal catch us when we're 13 points ahead of them. So why can't we do it to them? It always happens our way.
14 points. Are they 14 points? Is that what they
No,
are
it's
to us?
12 points. We cut the gap to 12 with today's win, Josh.
Well,
And
haven't
it's
they got
only
a game
one
in
game
hand?
in hand now. It's only one game in hand.
Hey, easy there now, easy.
That's easy.
What about Chelsea? Do you think we could? Chelsea are coming to us on Saturday,
Sunday. Is it next
sorry.
Sunday?
What do you reckon?
Do you reckon we're gonna
we can nick it from them?
I mean, look, they're losing at home to Southampton, so you've got to believe that.
Oh,
Is that us?
I think his dial-up's cut out.
Finally.
Yeah,
He's here.
And he's back.
Right, just in case Daniel Levy tries to intercept again, we'll leave this
I'm not sure what just
as the
happened there.
closing thoughts.
No, but
go
so Chelsea are losing at home to Southampton, so like, obviously you got to think we're favourites. But one thing for sure, you know, you got to be realistic in the sense that their squad is better than ours. Whatever we want to say about it, if you look at every position, I don't see a position apart from maybe the striker where we're better than them. So if they get it to click any week, it could easily be this week. You know, if there's any week they're going to make it click, it's probably going to be
Tottenham.
Spurs.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't take it for granted, but for sure, we've got to be favourites. If we can just make sure that we're not making any stupid errors like we have done in some big games, then obviously I think we can for sure win. But I'm not taking that win for granted at whatsoever, because if there's any game they're just going to start clicking, they'll definitely use Spurs as their as some motivation for sure. So they've got some quality players there. I mean, I've been really impressed with Enzo. I've been really impressed with João Felix. They've got some quality new signings. They just got to bed them in.
Yeah, I agree. That it does worry me.
Yeah, I just don't like João Felix.
That they'll just hit form. We need to get Porro on the pitch if João Felix is playing, because of all that.
Yeah, would
stuff
you start Porro, Sim, or would you start Emerson
next week?
Because obviously I've heard your comments.
It
about
depends.
Emerson.
Is Barry still watching?
He's gone. He's watching EastEnders.
He's not. Barry's always watching.
He's watching SAS.
He gets like his ears start tingling if someone says Emerson somewhere. Like,
no. To be honest, I would stick with Emerson because I think he's been so defensively solid over the last few games. I think he's really improving his not ability on the ball, but he used to be really like sloppy on the ball, like giving away in stupid areas. He's really improving his ball retention and things like that. Still got a lot to work on going forward. I know he scored a goal today. And he had scored one recently against Man City, but I still think he's got a lot to improve when it comes to in the final third making a big difference. But you know, when Chelsea have players like Mudryk and you know Sterling, I would feel more comfortable with Emerson there than I would with Porro right now. Albeit, what I would say is that I do want Porro to get that next performance in as soon as possible, because I just think the longer he goes without playing, that debut performance is going to play not just on his mind, but the fans' mind as well. Yeah. And it's going to be like, oh, he had a shocking debut. Is he good? All this kind of stuff. You just need to put that on the back burner. I think we need to play him, get him a game as soon as possible. But I just don't think Chelsea is probably the game for him.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, positivity. Glad that we won. And yeah, I suppose.
Nick, aka Barry. Said, yes, I'm here.
Don't worry. Well, with that, I suppose we'll be signing off. And yeah, thank you, Sim.
You guys done a great job. Big up to you guys.
Thank you.
Big up for the watch along as well. Hope all was well. Look, we got a great win. I think it's very positive for the big picture for Tottenham right now. For all the complaining, for all the what's going to happen with Conte, our style of play, all this kind of stuff. 4th in the Premier League, Sheffield United away in the next round of the Cup and with a view of getting to the quarters. Still got a chance of getting to the quarters of the Champions League. So, like, a lot to play for.
It's true.
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree, man.
And by the way, I did the better job because I was here on time. I just want to say that.
All right, looks like Josh is getting a bonus then. Josh is
getting the bonus. Or just dock his pay completely. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah,
getting a late fee. Getting a late fee. Big up to you guys.
All right, big up, Sim.